what's good, gamers? What's good? My name is Dr. Ryan Terrell, Psych Sensei, and happy Thursday, and welcome to the Self-Talk Clinic. But before we jump into all of that, if this is your first time here, welcome. Please visit my website, psychsensei.com. If you like what I talk about and you want some more resources, you can catch those all on my website, psychsensei.com. You can catch my YouTube channel where I just dropped a couple of VODs there. The last one I dropped, you can philosophize with me and we talk about ego and if it's bad or not. Or you can make your own decision about it. You can also catch my podcast. That's right, I have a podcast on Apple Podcasts, it's on Spotify, it's on Amazon Music, it's on most everywhere. You can catch your podcast. Just search up The Construct and you can find my podcast there. Please follow me on Twitter at the Psych Sensei if you never want to miss a zany thought or an announcement or something insightful. You'll never know. It's a grab bag. But also, if you would love to talk with me directly, you can also join my Discord and you and I can sit down and talk stories and exchange ideas and such. But if you are maybe challenged in some of the things that you're saying to yourself, maybe challenged in climbing your game, or you just want to improve in general, go to my website, psychsensei.com. There, you can fill out a free consultation form, put down all your information, even a date and a time that you can meet, and you and I can sit down and find that win condition and start working towards it today. You know, I really love these consult meetings. I had one today, actually, with a player, and it was really fun to see, like, okay, what do you want to do? What do you expect? What do you think the journey's gonna be like? What's your experience of working with a esports psychologist or a mental health provider? It's always so fun with these, like, exploratory consultations. So, please visit my website and fill out one of those forms, and we can talk today. And also, oh my gosh, tomorrow, 9 a.m. PST, I will be having coffee with my good friend Casey, who is an esport, or I mean, he's like an IRL, and also esport, not nutritionist, dietitian. That's right, boys and girls. You can talk to a dietitian and ask all your questions tomorrow at 9 a.m. And we will be covering my favorite drug, caffeine. That's right. I have some right here in my hand. Not sponsored, so don't look at the label. But I got my drugs. Casey's trying to convince me to quit. Him and Matt were like, bro, how many cups of coffee do you drink? And I'm like, 7. And apparently, it's for health. I don't know if it's for the effects at this point anymore, but hey, peppermint mocha season is popping because it is freaking snowing, bro. It's snowing today. And hey, as always, this is supposed to be a conversation. So if you have questions about your self-talk, you want to tell me about your self-talk or things that you're telling yourself, or maybe you do that aren't so helpful, or hey, maybe if you got some tips and tricks to like better manage your self-talk or things that you tell yourself or things that you tell yourself inside, great, let's talk about it. Please bring it in. All right, so what is self-talk? Let's just start there, right? Like, let's define our terms. What is self-talk? Well, to put it very simply, it's like in the name. It's the talk that you do to yourself. It's one of my favorite like terms of psychology. It's what's self-talk. You just define the term. It's the talk that you do to yourself. Self-talk. When we think of self-talk, we think of the external stuff. External stuff that you can hear that people say to themselves, like, oh my god, that was such a griefer. Oh my god, I'm trolling. Ah, so shitty. When we think of self-talk, you typically think of the external things that you hear that people tell themselves. But I think something to emphasize, though, is that self-talk can also be internal. It's the things that you say to yourself, but you don't externally say it. It's like that internal dialogue in your head. Fun fact, side note, not everybody has a like internal voice in your head. I definitely have an internal voice in my head. I'm curious if you have an internal voice in your head, because I know Memers, she doesn't have an internal voice in her head, which we got into crazy discussion about, wait, what do you mean it's like empty? She's like, no, it's like empty. There's like nothing in it. I was like, what? It's funny. We played this game, side note again. Like, we played this game one time where we were in the car and I was like, hey babe, like we just started dating. It was great. And I was like, hey babe, okay, let's play like a fun game. Let's like, for the next like 5 minutes, I just want you to give me like a stream of consciousness. And she's like, okay. I was like, okay, got it. She's like, yep. I was like, hey, ready, set, go. And she's like, okay. Car, barrel, there's a wall, and it's gone. And that was it. And she's like, okay, your turn. And I was like, I don't think you want to hear this voice, babe. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, I think if I tell you what I'm thinking about inside of my head, I think you're going to freak out. And she goes, what do you mean? I'm like, okay. She's like, well, let's just play. I was like, okay, let's play. So, okay, ready, set, go. I wonder why Mimi's thinking this. Like, why does she want to know what the voices in my side of my head are? Oh my god, look, she's looking at me. Okay, what is this thing? Okay, what do I have to do today? Like, I'm hungry. Look at the person in that car. Wow, they look really upset. Okay, what's on the radio now? What are we doing? She's like, okay, stop. She's like, stop, that is too much. I don't know how you manage all those things in your head and they go everywhere. I'm like, yeah, it's insane in my head. My internal voice hates me. Okay, that's good. This is why we're having the clinic. This is exactly why we're having the clinic. So going from yesterday's conversation to today's conversation, this is not about guilt and shame. This is not asterisk, not a gas exercise. Let's start there. This is not a gas exercise, not guilt and shame. This is all about observations. This is all about awareness. This is all about curiosity. And then whatever conclusions you draw, that's your Kuleana. That is your responsibility. Pouring often is like, oh, why so many words? Because when I talk, I include a lot more internal voice than he does. If he has one, dude, I don't know, man. Ask Purple. Like, I wonder what his internal voice sounds like. It must be so even keeled. Or it's like insane, and then he like lawyers it out. You know what I mean? Or I will be like, I wonder, and he's like, why does it matter? Or I don't know. And I'm like, I'm not asking you, I'm wondering out loud. Babe, I just want you to support me. I want you to wonder with me, that's all. I don't need you, I don't need anything else. God, you never listen to me. Rainbow, you bring up my internal voice hates me. Why do you think that? Because I think this is very common. I'm not sure, but I would say most people's internal voices are very not nice to them. It's the weirdest thing because when I have these self-talk discussions with players or people or coaches or whatever, I always ask them like, hey, what does your self-talk tell you? And they say a very similar thing, kind of close to my internal voice hates me. They like, oh man, I just shit on myself. Or like, dude, if I said the things out loud to myself to other people, bro, like it'd be rough. I don't think that would be fly. Like that wouldn't be good. I think I'd be just so toxic. It wouldn't be great. The question that comes here is, how does that voice help you? If you have this voice that's kind of, I don't know, a bully, maybe an overbearing Asian mother or father, maybe if it's like really naggy coach, maybe it's something negative. Question there is not, okay, the voice or what it's telling you. The question, the sidestep that I think is really interesting when I talk to players is, what does this voice do for you? What is the utility of this voice and how does it help? Or does it? And then if it does help, how does it help? When does it help? How does it push you? These things, it's good. At the same time, if it doesn't, okay, what does it do to you instead? What does it make you think? What does it make you feel? What does it make you do when you hear this voice? It's like I'm not presuming you know. Don't get mad. My internal voice is very hard on me. It's also riddled with OCD and PTSD. Oh, it doesn't help. Right. Okay, yeah. Okay, I can see that. I think it's really interesting though. With this voice, thinking of the utility of it or where is it coming from, the whole purpose of why we're doing this is to better understand this thing that's happening. Because maybe the goal is to better understand the utility, the purpose, the origin story of this voice. Because I think what's really interesting is that like at the end of the day, the person you have to go home to, the person that you have to live with, the person that you have to chill with when everyone else is gone is just you. Well, you and this voice in your head, or maybe voices, I don't know, I'm not here. That's all you got. And so it's really interesting that if you and this voice in your head that's one and the same are together all the time, it's really curious that this voice is always pooping on you, or it's more negative for you. And maybe that's kind of similar to like maybe your friends or maybe your family or people you're close with, where you're maybe nicer to people you don't know, but the people that you do know, maybe it's this understanding or this thought in your head that, oh, they'll understand why I'm being like this, or oh, they'll love me anyway, or whatever. And so maybe we don't always treat them good, which is, bad, but happens. So maybe it's like that. Maybe because we should understand where the voice is coming from and the intention of the voice, but I don't think we always do. I don't think we always understand the intentions of the voice in our heads. For example, when I often ask players, how does this voice, this internal voice that hates me or they're hard on me, when they say these kinds of things, I ask them, how does this voice help you? And for a second, they have to think of like, okay, how does it help me? And they say, it pushes me forward. It says these really heinous things. It says these things that I'm doing. It really puts me down because it knows my true potential. And because it knows my true potential, it's telling me these things and it's trying to push me. That makes sense. If you have this voice, it's in your head, that's kind of mean to you, and it's being mean to you because it knows what you can do and you're not doing it, and so it's trying to figure out how to help you do that thing. Okay. If that's true, and it's trying to push you forward, but it's doing this mean thing to me, Okay, well, if it's really trying to push you forward, okay, how effective is it at doing what you want it to do? So if it's doing this because it wants you to reach your full potential, it wants you to be the best person, gamer you can be, great. Okay, how effective is the technique that the inner voice is using to actually get you to do that thing? Another question that you can ask, or that I often ask too, is how does it feel when it says what it says? Even though you understand now the intention, how does it feel? And sometimes it's hard to separate the voice in our head from ourselves. It's really hard to separate these two entities. So think of it as two entities. Think of it as this is a part of you. It's not you, but it's outside of you, kind of, although it's inside of your head. Whatever. So it's outside of you for a moment. Just imagine it. Think of this as like another relationship. Except this time, the relationship that we're talking about is with your best friend, your partner for life, your lover, whatever, yourself, right? This is what we're talking about. So if we're going to, for example, pretend we can project it externally outside of us, and now we're in this relationship and we can see it, we can see them, we can talk to them. Imagine if you're going to talk to this voice like you were a friend. I understand what you're trying to do, my guy. I understand it. I know why you're doing this, or I think I know why you're doing this, but maybe we can even have a conversation. Ask, why are you doing this? Why are you telling me these things? Why are you telling me these things in this type of voice? Why are you coming in and doing these things to me at these specific times? I would be really curious about what that voice would say, and just having this external dialogue with it. And I mean, this sounds crazy. We're having an external dialogue with ourselves. At the same time, if you don't feel comfortable doing this, what you could do is you could write it down. And you could literally just take these questions, write the question down, answer it for yourself, provide yourself a little bit of space and insight. And then with that insight, then we can make moves. Even if this is a uncomfortable activity, even writing it down and having this conversation with yourself definitely will help. Once we drill down to how does that help you? What's the purpose of this voice? Once you answer this question, what's the purpose of the voice? Now we can start talking about style and delivery, or intention. What's the purpose? How does it help you? What's the intention? After we kind of figure out these three things, these three questions, we'll dig down deeper into these kinds of things. Because what we're searching for is we're just trying to understand what it's doing. Because again, we're not talking about the behavior being the self-talk. We are looking at the function of the behavior, because the behavior itself sometimes is meaningless. What's more important is the function that it plays. If you want to separate it like this, right? Because this is a common topic that we talked about this week, separating the behavior from the function of the behavior. So once you start digging and find the function of the behavior, this is the interesting part now. And why I say it's interesting is because now we get to begin to shape the relationship. We begin to shape the style, the engagement that we have with this voice. Because if we can see the function, and the function is good, and we like this, now we can start talking about the behavior. After you find it, understand the function of the self-talk, or what it's trying to do for you. Now, what would you like to be different? Would you like the style to be different, of delivery, tone? Maybe these are all things that you would like to be different. Maybe it's the style that it tells you things. Maybe it's the way, the delivery it tells you things. Maybe it's the tone in which it tells you things. Maybe it's even the language. All these things we can begin to shape. So maybe something else that we can even think about too with self-talk. Another question you can ask yourself is, does this voice remind you of anybody? Does it sound like a coach? Does it sound like a mom, a parent, a brother, a sister, a friend? Does it sound like you? Who does it feel like? And then, does this voice remind you of anybody? And then going back down to all these questions too. How does it help you? Do you like it? I'd be even more interested in this question. Do you like that they remind you of this person or this thing? And then what is your relationship with this thing or this person? Is it positive? Is it negative? Does it give you the heebies? What is it for you? And then why I think it's really cool is because like you actually get this label picture of a thing. Like, oh, okay, when I hear this negative self-talky voice, I see my mom or nagging me about things I need to be doing or else's. Or I see that coach that just belittled me when I was a kid, telling me how I couldn't shoot the basketball or how I was running slow or how I looked weird when I was running. I don't know. But who is this for you? What do they look like, sound like, act like? What is your relationship with them? And then who would you like them to sound like? Who would you like them to be like? Because the fun thing about this voice is, yeah, it's a part of you and it's been with you for a while. At the same time, that doesn't mean that the voice that you hear right now has to be the voice that you forever hear forever and ever. And the best part too is, just like we talked about relationships, you have a relationship with this voice. It makes you feel a certain way. You're connected to this thing in a certain way. And like all relationships, we get to dictate, we get to choose, we get to influence the type of relationship that we have with it. And the best part is, if you don't like it and it's abusing you or it's being not so nice to you, we can actually talk to it and like make sure that it's doing the things that we want it to do, but at the same time, it's doing the things that we want in the way that we want it. For example, maybe this is a simple miscommunication between you and that voice, where the voice is saying, hey, look, I'm always looking out for you. You tell me that you want these things, you want to achieve these things, you want to do these things, but if you want to do these things, you're not doing the things that you need to do, so I don't know what to do, so that's why I'm being mean to you. Oh, I got it. Yeah, okay, yeah, I did say those things, and I do want to do those things, but can you please not be so mean, man? Like, I understand. Could you say instead, like, this? Or could you tell me this thing that you want, like this? Or even in these moments when I'm not doing the thing and you feel frustrated at me because you're trying to help me, could you just explain that to me first or remind me what I'm doing? And not in a dick way, so I can be aware of it so I can change. Again, we're talking about a relationship with yourself. And this is another question I think is really interesting, because people, oftentimes, players, whatever, they're so nice to their friends. So much nicer to themselves. They will think of their friends. They will check in on their friends. They will pick their friends up. They'll encourage their friends. They'll hype their friends up. These are things that most people do with their friends. But have you ever heard the heinous things that we have told ourselves that we would never tell a friend? And even if we did tell our friend in the heat of the moment, we would even come back and say, bro, sorry. Oh, sorry, the demons got out of the bag, man. That was my bad. I should have never said those things. I didn't mean that. I'm so sorry. How can we move past this or make sure that like this doesn't happen again, because that wasn't cool? I think that's really important. But when have you ever apologized to yourself for the things that you're saying? Never, probably. Never for the bashing, never for the put downs or the toxicness or whatever, the backhanded passive aggressiveness things that you think about yourself or your improvement or your game. I rarely hear people or pick themselves up that way of like, bro, that was really mean. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to say that to you. That I was just trying to like motivate you. My bad, bro. Tell me how to do that better. So if that's true, how do you think your life would be different? How do you think your games would be different? How do you think your experience of learning or growing or making mistakes would be if you actually treated yourself like a friend? Nay, we would take this one step further. What would your life be like if you actually liked yourself like you do your friends? I'm curious. I know my life would be a lot better too at some points, because I say some pretty heinous things to myself too. I say some pretty fucked up things in game, or when I'm frustrated, or when I know that I'm not doing the things that I would want to do in the way that I want them. I also say some pretty heinous shit. At the same time, I think it's important even for myself that I catch myself when I say these things. Like, oh, I'm doing it again. Okay, I'm doing it again. Is this helping me? Run down to the questions, right? Is this helping me? Okay. No, it's not really. Okay, what's the purpose? Okay. I know what I'm trying to tell myself or why I'm doing it, but it's not the correct way. The intention is correct, but the way that I'm telling myself to do it is not correct, and that's why I'm feeling bad. Okay, I need to do something else. All right, so it's even nice to even ask yourselves these questions when you hear this voice, because it's going to help train you to react and respond differently the next time you hear it. And the whole thing with self-talk too, it's about catching yourself. When it's happening, what you're telling yourself, being aware of it. And because again, if we're aware of it, or if we're aware of what we're telling ourselves or how it's affecting us, then and only then are we able to do something different about it. Because if we don't know that it's happening or how it's affecting us, or that we're doing it again, well, we can't do anything about it. This exercise, this discussion is about just catching it so we will know what to do next time. And this is all about practice. I'm not going to say like we're gonna have this discussion and practicing and catching. I find myself spiraling a lot, so I think this technique would be helpful for stopping the spiral before it gets bad. Yes, again, for you, my friend, this is not a guilt and shame exercise. This is a exercise in exploration. I think the other thing to really talk about too is just a learning process. Typically in the learning process, I like to conceptualize it in 3 steps, aka model. First, it's awareness. You have to be aware of what's happening, when it's happening, why it's happening, so we can make some changes. Then K, we have the knowledge piece. We have the knowledge, we're talking about it, we're introducing different techniques, for you to understand. And after that is the actual action and the application of it. Here's the thing though. It also happens in 3 steps. 1, not knowing and just making mistakes or fucking up or whatever. Then number 2, knowing, but then being inconsistent in the doing, which is often the most frustrating part because you're like, oh man, I know it's happening, or I know I'm doing the self-talk thing again. Ugh, I can't apply these skills consistently, and you get frustrated. In the second step, when you're trying to apply the things that you know, but you're unable to do it consistently, it's important to be patient with yourself through this process. Let's celebrate the fact that you caught yourself. Let's celebrate the fact that you're trying to do something different, and let's just focus on trying to make that change. And that's pretty much all we can do. And then the third step, that's the easiest one. You know it, and you can do it consistently, and you're crushing it. We'll consider that thing learned. After third step feels really good. First step is really frustrating. Second step, the most frustrating, I would say. So if you're catching yourself and applying this to yourself in the self-talk, the first step is, I don't know that I'm doing it. Okay, but after this discussion with Psych Sensei, I know that I'm doing it, I'm catching myself. Okay, good. Step 2, okay, I'm catching myself, but I'm not always asking myself the questions, or I'm not always applying myself the techniques, and so I'm still doing it. Okay, frustrating. But again, remember that you're catching yourself, and that's still a great first step. And that's a step in the right direction. And then lastly, we'll be doing on the questions and understanding and things like that. Also, the thing with self-talk too, I think that's really interesting is, yeah, you can catch yourself in the moment, but when it's easier to teach yourself the self-talk or practice the self-talk techniques is when everything's not on fire. So when you're in a cool, calm, collected state and you can clearly think about these things, you can write them down, you can make a plan for yourself for when this does happen, or when you do catch yourself using this type of self-talk, then you can actually implement the plan versus trying to create the plan, implement the plan, and do the plan perfectly while everything's on fire. It's very difficult. Would you include some reward for when you can improve your self-talk to add a behavioral aspect? What would you recommend to improve the self-talk quickly? Bro, take yourself out to ice cream. Yeah, I think so. I'm 100% down for rewards. I'm 100% down for positive reinforcement for behaviors or even thought changes, just changes that you're making in general. Humans love rewards. We love it. We have a whole system in our brains dedicated to rewards and reward-seeking behavior. And sometimes people like me have a problem with that. I definitely would. And the reward of the behavior aspect is whatever you think would be rewarding for you. Whatever you think that would give you that spark or that reinforcement that you did it. So how I would reinforce it is I do it with my players too. It's easier for me to reinforce and reward because I'm an external person observing them. And if they do it, I'm like, bro, did you know that you did this? Or bro, I've been counting and last week you used 10 negative self-talk statements and this week you only used 7. Bro, that is an improvement. Let's go. Step in the right direction. I joked about ice cream, but if you catch yourself making the improvement, man, I realized that I didn't put myself down, or I did catch myself putting myself down, but I stopped. Bro, ice cream time. Go for it. Go do the reward. Go on a walk or whatever you would like to do. Get some coffee, some caffeine, some drugs. That's your reward. And what would you recommend to improve the self-talk quickly? To do it quickly. I think to really improve the self-talk quickly, the first step that I would do is, it'd be really fun. Okay, boom, I designed an experiment for you. If you would really like to work on your self-talk, if you would really like to improve or just observe and see and understand what you tell yourself in real time, here's your task, your homework, your experiment. Try it. What I would do, what I suggest is set up a camera, set up a mic, play your game, record it. You don't have to stream it, you just have to record it. If anything, not the camera, just the microphone, because this is a verbal task that you want to hear. I'd play your game or play the set of games. Then I'd go back. This is a twofer because you could go back and VOD review. You could go back, VOD review, and see what you did good, what you did bad in the game. And then what I would do is I would pay extra special attention to those comms. And I would write down everything I said to myself during that game, positive and negative. In fact, I would take a sheet of paper, write a freaking line down the middle, positive, negative. You can either write the statements down, which I think would be much more effective, or you can literally just take a tally. Oh man, I'm so shitty. Negative. Oh my god, I shit on that guy. Positive. And see how many positive and negative statements you use and what you actually tell yourself. Then from there, if this is your true experiment, practice, catch yourself, do the external work of asking yourself these questions, creating an action plan for you of when these voices come. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, do it again and have a pre and post. Okay, in these 2 weeks, actually really trying to fix my self-talk. I was really trying to acknowledge it or be aware of it and trying to change it. Was I actually able to do it? And then, I mean, even if you did this experiment and wrote down the things that you said to yourself, I would be really curious too, if you went line by line. I said all these things. Now, listening to it back, do I sound like somebody I know? Man, I sound like Coach Trenchbull. Wow, that person was an asshole. I don't want that. Okay, who would I want this person to sound like instead? Okay, I want them to sound like Paradox. Okay, that person is like the person I want, their coach the voice that I want in my head. Okay, now what's the utility of the Trenchbull voice though in my head? And you literally go down these questions to ask yourself. And then from these questions, you can now begin to shape that voice, that person, or begin at least to have the conversation of how you want it to be different. It'd be a fun experiment. It'd be a really fun experiment. And I'm applying this to myself, bro. I kind of want to do this for one of my friends. Bro, did you know all the things that you're saying? Did you know what you're saying or who you're calling or what, man? I think it'd be very interesting. In general, if you have this more negative external voice in your head, it's really important that you begin to examine the relationship that you have with it. And then the question, the task, the challenge would be, how could we make it more like a friend? How could we leverage this voice in our head to help us in our times of need versus ganging up on us and smushing our confidence? Because the other thing with self-talk or external or internal, especially when I hear it externally in scrims or VODs or whatever, why I really think about it and why I really key up on it is because to me, your external, internal self-talk, the things you tell yourself, it's like a little window into what you're focusing on. For example, if people complain after they die about how they died, who killed them, a glitch in the game, some bullshit thing, that makes me think that they're focused on that. And that if I keep hearing it over and over and over again, that makes me think that they're really stuck on it or they're really thinking about it. And yeah, I do believe that you can bounce back mentally and you can shift your mental. At the same time, if you're consistently talking about something, if you're consistently thinking about something and externalizing that through your speech, that gives me a little window into where you are or what you're thinking about or what may be holding you back. And then from there, the question would be, what would be something more helpful to think about? What would be something more beneficial to get you into the game besides the things that you're thinking about and that you're saying? These are all fun things to talk about or glean information from, because I really do think that sometimes people listen to that voice or not. I'd be really curious, what is the purpose of the utility? Because sometimes people will shit on themselves or say really bad things to them when they make mistakes in a team game because they say, oh, I want my teammates to know that I made a mistake. Then if that's true, okay, that might be a conversation for the team of when I make a mistake, and I want to acknowledge it to you guys so you all know that I made a mistake and that I'm not just going all willy-nilly playing this game. What is something that would be helpful for you that I can say or do when the mistake happens? Because sometimes, even though you are trying to acknowledge a mistake to make sure that everybody else knows, there may be a more effective way, because they could say, dude, it's no big deal. Like, if you make a mistake, we all make mistakes. It's fine. Or they could say, literally, dude, you say, my bad. And we know. This will depend on the team. This will depend on your relationship with the team. But you're saying these things because you want the team to know. Maybe there's a better way you can communicate that to the team instead of just externally shitting on yourself and putting yourself down, decreasing your confidence and the things that you're focused on. This goes back down to, why are you doing this? For who are you doing this? And then, is there something else that we can be doing that serves the same function or purpose, but doesn't kill your performance in game? And again, I'm just here to ask questions, bro. Like, I'm just here to ask the questions. I'm here to facilitate the conversation. I think that's mostly where people are with the negative self-talk. I've rarely seen the positive self-talk towards, I don't know, maybe for you too. I mean, you can think about it, but I'm wondering if the positive self-talk or the doing the positive self-talk, for some people, maybe why they don't want to do it is because they don't want other people to think that they are bragging, or that they're like gassing themselves up, not guilt and shame, but like pumping themselves up and beating their own chest and saying like, I'm the man. If that's what you're doing, or that's what you're afraid of, even more importantly, if that's something that you're afraid of, because it happens a lot. If you're afraid of something, oftentimes in my experience, you probably won't do that thing. For example, if you don't like people with a lot of ego, and you don't like people bragging or boasting, or for lack of better terms, like jacking themselves off, like putting themselves on a pedestal or whatever. If you don't like that, and that irritates you and that frustrates you and you hate it, my guess is probably you're not going to do that because you don't want to be the thing that you hate. And you probably have a very sensitive barometer of when you do those types of things, so you don't do it. So if that's true, you would know the difference between you like just gassing yourself up and you acknowledging the good things that you actually are doing. I think that's the difference, and understanding the difference between the two. If you're afraid of acknowledging or using positive self-talk, encouraging yourself, guiding yourself through your challenges, or providing yourself with other information to push yourself forward, because you're afraid of being misinterpreted as being a dick, or you don't like it, or you don't want to be cocky, I hope you understand that if you don't like that type of thing, or you don't like that type of person, that the chances of you doing that type of thing is very low, because the purpose in which you're doing it is not for that. The purpose in which you're providing yourself with positive self-talk is to acknowledge the changes and recognize the things that you're doing. That's all. And I bet you, if you were to extend that and continue to recognize and do that for other people or your teammates too, I don't think that people would perceive you as being that type of person that you don't want to become. I think it's really weird. I mean, it's normal, but I think it's really, really weird. The things you say. I'm curious. How do all y'all use self-talk? I think that's an important thing to understand. I've mainly focused on positive and negative self-talk. Positive being the encouraging, positive, good, helpful things you tell yourself. And negative would be the put downs, the negative, the terrible, toxic things that you tell yourself. These are just two types of self-talk. But at the same time, there's other types of self-talk. There's also instructional self-talk or procedural self-talk, where you just talk yourself through something like, okay, I'm picking up my cup of coffee, I'm looking at it, I'm smelling it, and now I'm taking a drink. How do you use your self-talk? And how does it help you? How does it might hinder you? And if you're mean to yourself, why? Why are you so mean to yourself? I feel like there's so many people or things are just mean to you that why would you add on onto it? That's what I'm curious about. What would you do differently, or why? The whys. Why? You know what's also is really interesting too? Why I think self-talk is so important. I'll put this over here. I would say mine is actually 90% neutral, kind of bouncing ideas off of myself, thinking of positive and negatives, imagining myself from different perspectives in that idea. That sounds fantastic. That sounds fantastic, and now I'm curious, how did you do that? Like, how did you train yourself to me, the way that I interpreted what you just said was you're doing like Shadow Clone Jutsu, poof, and like you have all these different versions of yourself looking at something from many different angles, and then you just poof, you poof them back all in, and I have all the perspectives all at once. That's a really interesting way to talk to yourself, and I like the bouncing ideas off and I like how it's positive and negatives and neutral. I think it's important to have different perspectives to collect them all, so it's not all just doom and gloom. I think that's really interesting. I've rarely heard someone say that they think like that, so I think that's really cool. Again, my question is, how did you do that? And how did you do that? Why I like self-talk, one, like we've covered already, like it gives a glimpse into someone's head, into what someone's be thinking, but also why I think self-talk is really interesting is because it gives you a glimpse into somebody's beliefs, themselves, the game, what's happening around them. It's the little slips that you can read into that I think is really interesting. And if you really listen to what you say, and you really think about it, you'll find a trend and you'll find a pattern, because your voice is very predictable. And so you could probably even guess what your voice is going to say. And if you can guess what your voice is going to say, you have a better chance of changing it. So listen. I think the takeaway here, and when I say listen, I don't mean like listen to the voice of like, oh my God, it's right, I'm a piece of shit. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, listen and observe. What is it saying? How is it saying it? Is there a pattern to which it's saying? Are there themes in which it's saying? Are there things that it attaches to that it focuses on? And by listening and observing, the goal here is to better understand this voice. And to better understand this voice, try to listen to it, try to observe it, try to understand the patterns. Then from there, you can do stuff. Oh, it's not that crazy. It's just like trying to separate thoughts. Say I want to start a sock company. I want to think, what if I was a consumer, what would get me to buy these socks? What ad would I personally need to see? I just do that thought process for most ideas. Not always socks though. Bro, your sock company would be amazing. When my self-talk doesn't flow well, it's a pretty good indicator of my mental state. That's right. If my self-talk can't be eloquent, I'm probably not doing well cognitively. Maybe, bro. Maybe. I like that. I put that in number 3. Number 3, your self-talk gives you insight into your mental state. I think that's also important to understand too, or have an understanding of where your mental state is going. The homework or the challenge that I want to extend to all of you and all of you in the chat is listen and observe. That's it. Listen and observe. Write that shit down. Watch a VOD, videotape yourself. Watch yourself. The reason why I suggested videoing yourself is because it's very interesting to see yourself and then hear the thing that you say to yourself. And then it's kind of hard to believe, like, oh my God, I look like that when I sound like that? Bruh. I wonder what other people must be thinking when they see me do this, or what I must be feeling because I look like this when I hear myself say it. So that's why I'm saying video yourself and audio record so you can watch yourself back, or at least audio record so you can hear yourself back and hear the shit that you're saying and then decide if that's helpful or not. Try it out. After this, I'm probably gonna play some games with my friends. And now I'm going to listen to my self-talk and see where I am, or even be more conscious of what I'm thinking or saying. And here's the thing too, to remember, if you're going to take this challenge on of trying to monitor and be conscious of your self-talk, I don't want you to think that I'm gonna do this activity, my gameplay is gonna be crazy insane. In fact, by focusing on self-talk and really trying to do the process and get better at it, your gameplay might go down a little at first. And why might it go down a little? Well, because you're splitting your cognitive energy between focusing 100% on the game, pushing your buttons, being skillful, and managing the mental skills of monitoring your self-talk and trying to make those behavioral changes or even cognitive changes. And because you're basically writing with two hands now, or doing two separate tasks at the same time simultaneously, it might detract from your performance. That being said, I don't want you to think, oh my God, I can't believe Psych Sensei told me to do this and now I'm just shitting the bed because I can't perform now. Understand what you're doing and understand that that is part of the process. If you do decide to try, is that you're gonna split your attention, and by splitting your attention, your performance might go down until you learn that skill. Just learning. Think of trying to learn like reading for the first time or riding a bike for the first time, even driving. This is a really bad example. Don't do this. But for example, do you remember when you first started driving? How you would get into the car or whatever if you learn how to drive or ride a bike or whatever, same thing. Ish. Oh my gosh, I have to be fully conscious in this is turning the wheel. Oh, this is the blinker. Oh my God, I'm looking at the mirror now. Okay, like I'm looking at the mirror, other mirror when I'm doing this stuff, and everything was so manual. And your performance in driving was pretty bad when you first started because everything was manual. But then over time, and after you got a feel for the car and how to drive and practiced more, now you don't have to think about, okay, I have to turn the blinker on when I change lanes because I don't use the blinker anyway. That's a joke. That's a joke. Like, you don't have to think about it. It's just something intuitive. I'm using the blinker. Or, okay, it's raining, whoops, windshield wiper on, and I can play with the speed. Or even, driving has gotten so automatic that people can now text while they're driving. They're like not even thinking about the driving, they're like doing two different tasks. It's the same thing where if you try to do the self-talk that's learning how to drive, but just to be more manual, and so maybe the driving action is going to go down, or the performance of you driving is going to go down because you're still trying to learn how to steer the wheel while pumping the gas. But as soon as you're able to master that task or it becomes something more automatic, now your performance in driving is going to go up and you can focus on other stuff, like how fast you're going, for example. If you're going to go try this and your performance goes down, that's just the part of the learning process, and your performance will go up as soon as you get better at the skill. All right, my friends, thank you so much for coming tonight. Always a blast to put on the clinic, and I'm glad we got to talk about self-talk. I'm glad that we got to ask all the questions about the relationship between you and the voice in your head. What does it sound like? Who does it sound like? Do you like it? Is it helping? All these kinds of things. And yeah, go try the experiment. So tomorrow, join me at 9 a.m. PST, where I will be having Coffee with Casey, a registered dietitian, not nutritionist. I'm a nutritionist. He's the dietitian. Registered dietitian. And we'll be talking about caffeine. Caffeine in esports, caffeine in general, my addiction, whatever. That's part of the show. So we'll be coming here at 9 a.m. for Coffee with Casey, drinking caffeine. And please come and ask all your caffeine questions. He's a really smart guy. Good fun to talk with him. And if you enjoyed this and you want more resources, you want to work with yours truly, or just find out more about me or whatever, visit my website, psychsensei.com. There you can find my YouTube channel, which last week I just dropped a VOD about ego. We discussed, is ego good? How's it get in the way? How can we leverage it? All those things on my YouTube channel. And also you can find my Instagram dropping shit. You can find my TikTok dropping shit. You can find my LinkedIn also dropping shit. We're everywhere with these socials. You can find all those things on my website, psychsensei.com. And also, if you want to further examine your relationship with self-talk, you want to stop being abusive to yourself via self-talk or whatever, go to my website and you can also fill out a free consultation form, and you and I can, meet one-on-one, talk about it, think about it, and start, being nicer to yourself today. So you can find all those things, all those resources on my website, psychsensei.com. All right, friends, that's it for me. I smell the food outside. I'm getting hunger. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. PST, Coffee with Casey. Join me, and then I'll see you guys there. All right, friends. Well, please be warm, please be safe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Mwah! Love ya! Kisses, be safe. Peaces. Bye!